It's Super Videos back at you for another video. Happy New Year 2017. This is actually my first video in 2017, so I thought I will make you a special video and talk a little bit about spoilers. Now, I usually don't talk about spoilers on this channel, but I figured I will use the character guide that is available at the Spoiling Dead Fans Facebook page to give a spoiler prediction about what we're gonna see in the second half of Season 7 or 7B. Now, there isn't a lot of spoilers in this character guide from the Spoiling Dead Fans. There are some minor spoilers regarding what we're gonna see in this next half season and what we can expect. The only major spoiler in here is related to the Mysterious Boots character, and the only spoiler from that is basically who they are. Now, I'm not gonna say it here. I'm gonna put a spoiler warning here. So if you don't want to know anything about the second half, not even some minor spoilers, so if you don't want to know about spoilers at all, then you may not want to watch this video. So this is your spoiler warning. Now, that being said, let's get right into this. Now, before I actually start, I want to let you know that I didn't just look at the character guide for this prediction. I actually looked at the promo as well for the second half of Season 7 and kind of put things together between what we're going to see based on the promo and when these characters are going to appear and trying to relate these things together. So, let's get started. So, in 709, the characters that are rumored to appear are Rick, Carl, Michonne, Daryl, Maggie, Carol, Morgan, Sasha, Rosita, Tara, Aaron, Simon, Jesus, Enid, Father Gabriel, Eric, Gregory, Ezekiel, Richard, Benjamin, Jerry, and a new character named Brion or Brian. Now, this Brion or Brion character is the Mysterious Boots guy. So in terms of whether that character is a new character or whether it's Dwight or whatever, it's just a new character, and I actually speculated this, so it's not really a spoiler for me because I was around 90% sure that this was a new character, so it wasn't a big spoiler for me. Let's look at the characters and try to put things together. So we do know from the sneak peek of Season 7, Episode 9, that there's gonna be a meeting at the hilltop, and from that sneak peek, the characters that we see are Rick, Carl, Michonne, Daryl, Sasha, Rosita, Tara, Enid, and Jesus. Now, Gregory and Maggie are not in the sneak peek, but we can make an educated guess that right before the sneak peek started, that Rick and the others had a meeting with Gregory, and we probably would see Gregory at that point. Then, we do know that Jesus tells them about the kingdom, about King Ezekiel. So there's going to be a meeting at the kingdom as well. Based on the promo, the people that are going to appear in that meeting from the Alexandrians are Michonne, Rosita, Sasha, Rick, and Daryl. Jesus is also going to be with them. So from the kingdom side, we can assume from this guide, Ezekiel, Benjamin, Jerry, and Richard are going to be there. Then what we actually see is Simon is also set to appear in this episode as well. Now, from the promo, there's a shot with Simon banging on the side of the car, and the car is at Alexandria based on the wall in the background. So if that's the case, then we're gonna see Simon at Alexandria in 709. And it's gonna be interesting. Now, the only reason I can think about why Simon would be there is maybe he was at the sanctuary, he realized Daryl escaped, so he came to Alexandria looking for Daryl. Of course, Negan at this point just headed back, so maybe Negan doesn't even know about Daryl escaping at this point. So we know that Simon is gonna be at Alexandria, most likely looking for Daryl. And then at Alexandria, from Alexandria's side, we have Father Gabriel, Eric, and Aaron who are set to appear. The only main Alexandrians at Alexandria are Aaron, Father Gabriel, and Eric. And then obviously, like I said before, the Mysterious Boots guy is gonna be Brion. Now, what I'm expecting is seeing an interaction between Brion, Father Gabriel, Eric, and Aaron, or just Father Gabriel or something along those lines, before the Saviors even get there. So I'm expecting Brion to be introduced at the beginning of the episode, and then we also have Morgan and Carol appearing. Now, I don't think that Morgan and Carol are going to be reunited with the group just yet, so because of that, I think they're just gonna be at Carol's cabin, and we're gonna see a conversation or something like that between them at the cabin. So they're not gonna be at the kingdom itself to meet with Rick and the others to be reunited with them. So that's for 709. Now for 710, the characters that are rumored to appear are Rick, Michonne, Daryl, Carol, Morgan, Rosita, Tara, Aaron, Father Gabriel, Ezekiel, Richard, Benjamin, and Jerry. So 710, I think we're gonna actually see Morgan and Carol reunite with the group. So I think Ezekiel is gonna tell them about Carol and Morgan, and they're gonna realize that they're together and they're gonna reunite. So from the kingdom side, we have Ezekiel, Richard, Benjamin, and Jerry. I'm predicting that Rick and the others are gonna head back to Alexandria. So these characters are gonna be Rick, Michonne, and Tara, who are gonna head back to Alexandria. And then at Alexandria's side, we're gonna see something with Father Gabriel and Aaron as well, because we do know that they are not with Rick and the others, so they're still at Alexandria. Now, this may just be when Rick and the others head back, they get back to Alexandria, that's probably when we're gonna see Father Gabriel and Aaron. But I could also see a few scenes between them throughout the episode as well, before Rick and the others get there. And then what we're gonna see is them going on a supply run or scavenging, because in the promo we do see Rick and some other people are looking around in an area. There's like a building in the background, and that's probably gonna happen in 710. The characters we see in that scene, in that promo, are Rick, Michonne, Rosita, Aaron, and Tara. So we do know that these people are gonna be at the supply run or scavenging. Now, there may be more people, but based on that image that I have on screen right now, these are the people I'm assuming we're gonna see in that scavenge. Based on the previous episode and the people who are set out to be on this episode, I'm assuming that Sasha and Jesus are gonna head back to the hilltop, but they're gonna do it off screen because they're not in this episode. And if we do get to see Rick and the others returning to Alexandria in this episode, then we're gonna have to see them head back to hilltop as well. If we don't, that's probably because they probably went back to the hilltop off screen. And then also what I'm assuming we're gonna see is Rosita and Daryl deciding to go back to the hilltop together, because in 713 with the episode guide, they are set to be in the episode, and everyone in that episode seems to be from the hilltop. So I'm assuming that Rosita and Daryl are gonna head back to the hilltop in this episode, because they still need to hide Daryl, so they can't just go back to Alexandria. So now let's move to 711. For 711, we have Negan, Dwight, and Eugene. So this episode is probably gonna be Sanctuary centric. We're gonna see Negan and Dwight, and Eugene is gonna be their prisoner, and he may even be building some bullets for them. They may even be at the bullet making factory and not at the Sanctuary at all. But it's just these three characters. I'm sure we're gonna see some more saviors who are unnamed or who are not big, but in terms of our main cast, we're gonna see none of the other ones, just Negan, Dwight, and Eugene. For 712, we have Rick, Michonne, Rosita, Tara, Father Gabriel, Judith, and Brion. Now, I'm assuming that Rick and the others are gonna head back to Alexandria from scavenging, and at that point, Father Gabriel is gonna introduce them to Brion. So Brion's gonna be there, and Father Gabriel is gonna introduce them to Brion. So Rick, Michonne, Rosita, Aaron, and Tara were on a scavenge hunt. They come back. Of course, Aaron doesn't seem to be in this episode, but I think he's still gonna come back with them. I don't think he's gonna die because he appears later on in episode 15 and 16, so he's not dead. We just don't see him with the group when they're back. For whatever reason, he may be there, but not on screen or something like that. We're gonna see Father Gabriel introduce Brion to Rick, and we're probably gonna see Judith as well, probably with Rick. So for 713, we have Daryl, Maggie, Sasha, Eugene, Rosita, Negan, Simon, Jesus, Enid, and Gregory. So at the Sanctuary with the Saviors, Simon and Negan are gonna appear. I'm not sure the context in which they're gonna be seen, but they're gonna be there. And Eugene is gonna be there as well, probably as their prisoner. At the hilltop, we have Daryl and Rosita who are staying there currently. Then we have Maggie, who's been there for a while. We have Sasha, who's been there for a while. We have Enid, who's been there for a while. And then we have Jesus and Gregory. Then for 714, we have Carol, Morgan, Ezekiel, Richard, Benjamin, and Jerry. Now, from the promo, I think this is probably going to be when we're going to see the exchange between the Saviors and the Kingdom. It's the part where Jared, who's the Savior, pulls a gun on Richard. From that exchange, we're going to see Morgan, Ezekiel, Richard, Benjamin, and Jerry, and some of the Saviors. But Carol is not there, so I'm assuming Carol is still gonna be in her cabin, and we're gonna get to see her a little bit back in her cabin. But I think after the exchange, things are gonna go very bad, because based on the promo, it seems like there's gonna be some major altercation during this exchange. So that's gonna be cool to see. Then in 7:15, we have Rick, Carl, Michonne, Daryl, Maggie, Sasha, Eugene, Tara, Aaron, Negan, Jesus, Enid, Father Gabriel, Eric, Gregory, Tobin, Cindy, and Netanya. Now, so this is probably when we're gonna see Negan come back to Alexandria again. Saviors at Alexandria. They may still be looking for Daryl, but at this point, Negan may think that Daryl is not at the hilltop, not at the kingdom, and not at Alexandria. So he may think that Daryl just escaped and ran away by himself. But in terms of the Saviors, we're gonna see Negan, and that's it. And of course, Eugene is gonna be there as a prisoner. So this time, Eugene is gonna be there as a prisoner at Alexandria, like Daryl in 704. Then at Alexandria, the people we have are Michonne, Rick, Tobin, Tara, Carl, Aaron, Eric, and Father Gabriel. Now, based on the promo, there's 2 shots where we see Rick and Tobin at the gates. And from that, the other characters we see are Michonne, Rick, Tobin, Tara, and Carl, and from another shot we have Aaron and Eric as well. So the Saviors coming to Alexandria seem to match these 2 images that I just showed you. Then at the hilltop we have Jesus, Gregory, Sasha, Maggie, Daryl, and Enid. Of course Daryl is still there, but we don't see Rosita, but I think Rosita is still at the hilltop at this point, but we just don't get to see her. I don't know what happens at the hilltop at this point, but these are the characters we're gonna see. Then we do see 2 characters from the ocean side as well, Cindy and Netanya. So I'm assuming in 7:15 this is gonna be when Tara is gonna talk to Rick and the others about the ocean side and introduce them to the ocean side, which is gonna be cool. Then in 7:16 we have pretty much all of the cast. We have Rick, Carl, Michonne, Daryl, Maggie, Carol, Morgan, Sasha, Rosita, Tara, Aaron, Negan, Dwight, Simon, Jesus, Enid, Father Gabriel, Eric, Judith, Ezekiel, Jerry, and Brion. So the Saviors we're gonna see are Negan, Dwight, and Simon, but Eugene is not there. Now, maybe they just didn't bring Eugene, or maybe Eugene escaped, or he was rescued. So it could be any of those possibilities. Then from Alexandria, we have Rick, Michonne, Tara, Aaron, Father Gabriel, Eric, and Judith. From the kingdom, we have Ezekiel, Jerry, Morgan, and Carol, but no Richard. So it may be possible that Richard is dead at this point. It's possible, but it's not 100%. Then from the hilltop, we have Jesus, Maggie, Daryl, Carl, Enid, Sasha, and Rosita. But no Gregory. It could be that he doesn't have any scenes, or he could be dead at this point. Again, possible, but not 100%. Then we also have the mysterious boots guy, who is Brion. So during the season finale, a lot of things are going to go down. We're gonna see all of the cast, pretty much all of the cast, and it's gonna be very cool to see. But in terms of my prediction, that's pretty much what I think we're gonna see. This video was very long, but like I said, it was a special video. I want you to share your opinions about my prediction in the comment section below. Don't put any spoilers. If it's something that I just showed you or I talked about, you can talk about it. But if it's something that I didn't talk about in this video, then don't share it with me because I don't want to know about spoilers. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. I'll be back for another video.